Welcome back, football fans. The World Cup is almost here. I can smell it. It smells like hot dogs and burritos and maple syrup because of the host nations. You get the idea. It's going to be a fantastic tournament, and we have put together a brand new data hub that I want to introduce you to in this video. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. It is completely open and free. I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to also show you our new predictions game that is launching just for the World Cup, and we are giving away £1,000 to those who predict the World Cup the best. And after I've shown you the data hub, we're going to take a look at the group stages. We're going to put together some predictions, some outright bets for the competition. We'll look at the group stages first because there's a few teams that I think are decent odds to qualify. And then we'll look at some player selections as well because, again, I've found some decent odds, so stick around. But first, let me show you a tool that is going to help you massively get ahead this World Cup. So here is the new data hub, link in the description if you want to check it out. I'm going to show you the prediction section, the team section, and the players section so you can use it for free to get ahead in the World Cup. So we're going to start with the prediction section on our new World Cup hub, link in the description if you want to get ahead. And we can see here £1,000 cash pot. If you scroll down, you are able to select your own predictions. You can see for my first one, I've gone with South Africa not to score against Mexico. And you can just get confirmation here of the prizes. If you finish first, you'll get £500, £300 for the second place, £200 for the third place, and then between 4th and 10th, a range of real world prizes as well. We also have our own probability model serving predictions on this page, so that is all open and free to use for the World Cup. Next up, a couple of tools that are really going to help you get ahead when it comes to player prop bets and bet builders. So the first thing I want to show you is the World Cup ranking system. We can rank teams by many metrics. We're looking at the last 10 games here, but you can toggle this to any form that you like. You can also select bespoke teams or narrow in on certain fixtures. So let's say you wanted to look at just England and Croatia and then dive into all of the metrics. You can absolutely do that. By default, it's going to show you games won across the last 10, and we have two perfect teams, Norway and England. New Zealand, 9 out of 10, but their qualifying structure is a bit easier than, let's say, England or Norway's. Let's take a look at some other data. What about goals total? 52 goals in 10 games for Norway. They could have a pretty special World Cup here. Could they do a Greece in 2004 in the Euros? They've got the players, they really do. And sometimes that spirit can take you the rest of the way. I think they could go pretty far. There's a little toggle here. You can include friendlies. If you click this, we then see that Belgium have 45 goals and Norway fall down to just 38 goals. But I am going to untoggle that because I think competitive games are a better gauge for where a team is at. That's when you play your best players, isn't it? Let's look at BTTS before we jump to the players section, and we see Bosnia and Herzegovina, 7 out of 10. Keep that in your head because we're gonna come back to that team in the future. Panama as well, another one, 6 out of 10. Panama, I don't expect them to win many games, but they have scored against a decent collection of teams in 2026. They've scored against the United States, they've scored against Chile, they've scored against Mexico. They usually lose those games 4-1, 4-2, 3-1. And I mention this because their opening game against Ghana is evens for BTTS. Can they get a World Cup goal? Let me know in the comments. And now on to the player section. You see the big man there, Harry Kane, at the top of the pile for goals across the last 10. He's scored 12 goals in his last 10. Ollie Watkins, 9. Thomas Tuchel left him out of the previous squad, and it was the kick up the backside that he needed. Finished in the top 4 with Aston Villa and won a Europa League, scoring plenty of goals as well. Maeda for Japan, What a player, what an overhead kick for Celtic. He dragged them to their title. We've got Marcus Thuram as well, who loves a shot, Lionel Messi. And Patrick Schick here brings us to our first player outright selection for this video, because I found this, which is for Patrick Schick to be the top scoring player on his team at 2.75. I think that is a fantastic find, to be honest. He is doing well for Leverkusen. He's got good pedigree at international tournaments. He lit up the Euros, if you remember. And yeah, 8 goals in his last 10. He comes into this pretty good. He's going to be the number 9 for them. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And as we scroll down, we see there's another few players here on 8 in 10, including Erling Haaland, and Donyell Malen as well is a good option. Keep an eye on him, because since he left Aston Villa, he is in very, very good form and will be in and around the starting lineup for the Netherlands. Now let's take a look at fouls per 90, and you can see that it is really, really quick and easy to just keep selecting different stats here and seeing which players come up. And we see Neymar here for fouls drawn per 90. I don't think Neymar is going to play much at all in this competition. I think he's been taken more for PR reasons for Brazil. I don't think he's the player he once was. Happy to be proven wrong in this competition. I know he's been doing okay in Serie A in Brazil, but the World Cup is a different beast. So that was the team and players section. The link to this is in the description, and I just wanted to introduce you all to it because it's the one tool that I'm going to be using, as well as others around the site, when it comes to the daily prediction videos that we are going to be doing on this channel. So if you are excited for the World Cup, make sure you are subscribed and leave a comment on this video who you think is going to win the World Cup. Can France do it? Are Spain favourites for a reason? Can England finally bring it home? Let me know in the comments. Now in this section, we're going to take a look at the group stages and see if there's any value on offer. Let me ask you a question. Do you think South Korea can beat Mexico in a game of football? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Czech Republic can beat Mexico in a game of football? Because for both of those, I believe they can. Yes, I know Mexico are going to be playing in Mexico or the USA, where they're going to have a lot of fans. But I don't think the odds truly reflect the probability that South Korea or Czech Republic could win the group. They are fours to win the group, South Korea, and they've still got a decent team. Son Heung-min is getting on a bit, but he's been in America, he's climatized. Czech Republic also have players at the top end of the pitch that can create, can score. So I don't think those odds reflect true probability. Let me know what you think in the comments. My pick is South Korea to win the group. Group B sees Canada put against Bosnia and Herzegovina, Qatar and Switzerland. And just before we check out the to qualify, where I do think there's a little bit of value potentially on Bosnia to be one of the third place teams that goes through at 1.5, Bosnia to beat Canada are 4.33. They're not that bad. I don't believe Bosnia and Herzegovina are that bad. They've got a couple of decent strikers, 2 strikers that are banging form at the minute. One of them, Edin Dzeko. Lukic, also a striker for them in very, very good form. So they could be one of the teams that goes through in third, certainly if they get a few goals against Qatar. So 1.5 for them to qualify. I think that is probably going to be the first selection for me in a kind of to qualify to win the group accumulator. But also, just as an aside, that first game, Canada, again, the support's going to be massive. They will be expected to win. But I can see all of the host nations crumbling a little bit, especially the USA. I don't think the USA are that good. I think Jesse Marsch is a good coach. Pochettino, I think he can't wait to get out of there. He's been sniffing around the jobs already. You would expect Switzerland to win the group, and at 1.72, that's not a bad option as well. So we can actually just add those two as our first selections in this multi-group group bet. Brazil, Morocco, Haiti and Scotland. That is a tasty, tasty group. Brazil to win, not worth it. Morocco to qualify, not worth it. Scotland to qualify at 1.36. I think if they get a few goals against Haiti, they are more than likely to be one of those third place teams that goes through. 1.36, we'll add it to the slip, but we will trim the fat off the slip at the end. Group D, and this is a tricky group, I think. The bookies are expecting USA to qualify 1.14. And don't get me wrong, they've got some good players and Pochettino is a good coach. But I think as a single, for them not to qualify and for them to crumble is not the worst bet in the world. Australia are not being backed at all by the bookies. 1.8 to not qualify. Paraguay are a decent team. 1.5 for them to qualify is a good bet. Turkey, you would expect to, I think, win the group. But here, they're 2.75, so I'm going to keep that on the slip. Turkey to win the group. Let me know what you think about that. Paraguay to qualify, I also quite like at 1.5. Got to remember the climate as well, so Paraguay going to be more in tune, definitely. Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. Those three teams, I think, will qualify because they'll all batter Curacao, right? I think that's the case in Spain's group as well, which we will get to. Group F, we have Netherlands, who are 1.72 to win the group. Japan at 4s to win the group. Sweden, so we're going to get in this group, we're going to get Alexander Isak up against Virgil van Dijk, which could be interesting. Sweden are 1.44 to qualify. Tunisia, who are decent defensively, 2.1 to qualify. There's a few teams, Iran, another team who are very, very good defensively, but will they have enough firepower to be able to be one of those best third-placed teams that go through? Sweden to qualify at 1.44 is probably the one that's standing out there, but again, they might not batter Tunisia, so they could not be one of the best-placed third teams that goes through. So I'm going to go with Netherlands to win that group, 1.72. I think they've got some really exciting players. They've got some great technical players as well. And they should fly through the group. There's no doubt about that. Japan have left Mitoma at home as well. He just didn't quite recover from his latest injury. Group G sees Belgium, Egypt, Iran and New Zealand. Now this is an interesting group, especially if you're Belgium. Belgium are absolutely, looking at that, going to win the group. They should beat Iran, they should beat Egypt, and they should absolutely beat New Zealand. New Zealand not to qualify is 1.4. If you look at the team rankings page that I showed you at the start of the video, they're one of the best teams, but you've got to take into account the teams that they're actually playing. Egypt are backed to qualify. They've got Marmoush, they've got Mo Salah, they've got some players that play in Egypt where there are not many goals scored. At the top end of the Egyptian league, the top 2 or 3 teams have elite defensive records, really. And I mentioned defense before. Iran have a very good defense. I quite like Iran to qualify. In qualifying, they're a really, really good team in their qualifying group, and their qualifying is a bit more difficult, shall we say, than someone like New Zealand. Spain's group is the easiest group out of them all relative to the team that is in there. For Spain, they are going to batter Cape Verde, they're going to batter Saudi Arabia. Uruguay might give them a bit of a game, but by then, it doesn't matter because they'll have 6 points and they are going to win the group. 1.2. Group I, this is a very good group. France, Senegal, Iraq and Norway. One that I like here is Norway to win the group. Senegal to qualify at 1.4 is quite nice as well. Senegal are in decent form. They've won 9 of their last 10 competitive games. The one that they didn't win was the final of AFCON, of course, controversially. I think Norway will qualify. I think they'll go far in this competition. Group J, Lionel Messi's Argentina has a decent group here. I think Algeria, we saw as well, they're in good form, but of course it goes back to who they're playing in qualifying and in AFCON. Austria, under Ralf Rangnick, expected to qualify, and then Jordan. Argentina to win the group at 1.33, potentially you keep that in there. Group K, Portugal, Ronaldo, Fernandes, Vitinha, Neves. Got a really, really good team, Portugal, 1.44 to win the group. Can Colombia throw a spanner in the works? They're 3.5 to win the group, 1.44 for Portugal, I think, gets added to the list. Now, we've got 9 selections here. They are not all going to be, we're not going to put them all on, so don't worry about that. And finally, Group L, England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Panama to score against Ghana in the first game is something that I'm looking at. BTTS is evens, which I think is decent. Panama closer to home compared to Ghana in terms of the climate and everything, but they have been a good goal-scoring team in 2026, despite not getting the results. So I've trimmed it down. We have a 5-fold here, which is very unlike me, but this is a outright World Cup prediction, so let's have a little bit of fun with this. Bosnia and Herzegovina to qualify. Netherlands to win the group, which I think is pretty decent odds there, 1.72. Iran to qualify. Argentina to win the group, and Portugal to win the group. If you want to reduce the risk, you could potentially remove Argentina and Portugal, which would take the odds down, of course. 7.48. Let's take a look at who's going to win the World Cup. So to win the World Cup, we'll look at this, and then we'll take a look at some player options as well. Spain are favourites. They've got a good team, haven't they? Obviously, European champions in the Euros. France, I don't like France's midfield. I think the midfield is a bit average, if I'm being honest. But at the top end of the pitch, my word, they should just evade the midfield, just pump it straight to those players at the top end of the pitch. England, I think maybe they could have brought a couple more midfielders. But the starting 11, I don't think anybody can dispute that there's real quality there. If they can find a way to get Harry Kane playing as he does for Bayern Munich, then we have something. Brazil at 9s, Portugal at 9s. Portugal at 9s may be the one that I go for. I'm thinking of maybe doing a couple of teams here. And Portugal, not because of Ronaldo, but because of all the other players that they've got on that team. There is some real quality. 9-1 for Argentina to do it again. My money would be on France. I'm not going to go England. I've seen too many disappointments. I remember us going out to Iceland in the Euros. That was absolutely abysmal. France are my pick, and they are 5-1. Let me know who you think is going to win the World Cup. So here we're going to take a look at the Golden Ball, and for me, I think it obviously depends on who gets to the final. They have to get to the final usually. I'm going to go Elise at 10-1. I think given the season that he's just had, the player that he is, I think he's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet for France. It'd be crazy if he wasn't. Elise, for me, I'm looking at the list of players here. Pedri, if Spain get there, Pedri at 20-1 is also a good one. I'm going to go with 3 players here and just spread it out a little bit. I'm going to go Elise, Pedri, and then we probably do need one of the favourites. I think Lamine Yamal isn't going to play that much. I don't think he will. Even if Spain win, I think through the group stages he won't play. So unless he comes into his own, he might play a little bit in the group stage. But given the group, they don't need him. Lionel Messi at 10-1. I think he'll do well in the group stages, Messi, but Argentina, can they win it again? I don't see it. Bruno Fernandes at 20-1 as well. I'm going to go Pedri, I'm going to go Elise, and I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes, if Portugal do win it, the PR machine will probably want Ronaldo to get it, but Fernandes has been incredible in the second half of this season, and he could continue that in this Portugal team, no doubt about it. I think they've got a great chance, by the way, Portugal, because games are won and lost at international level in the midfield, and Portugal's midfield is top-notch. So that is the video. Just wanted to do an introduction into the World Cup on Odd Alerts and just let you know that we are going to be here every single day throughout the group stage at first. And yeah, just wanted to show you that as well. 4.5 for Bosnia to win against Canada. I think the draw or the away win is a decent pick there, because I just think Canada can win, don't get me wrong, but 1.8, they're not that good, and Bosnia are not that bad. Anyway, that has been the first video of what is going to be many World Cup videos. I'll see you in the next one.